Intellectual stew. Intellectual stew with James Kirkland.
Powerful and provocative, prophetic and practical,
Intellectual stew.
informative and inspirational. How you gonna do better if you don't know what better looks like? I do.
Intellectual stew.
Come on, let's talk about it with me, the mind massager.
Intellectual stew with James.
What's up? Oh, was that too loud? What's up? What it do? I don't know if I call this another episode of the Intellectual Stew, but just popping up. Just popping up for a few minutes. Trying to see who's on live, see who wants to talk. Continue our mission. Continue to have the hard conversation, the conversations that people don't really want to have but need to have, and we're going to start the process of getting back together. I made a post on Facebook a couple of weeks ago, earlier this week or last week maybe, about how they have this whole thing saying so many people who don't want to get married. You got men and women who are saying that they're cool being single, women saying I don't need a man, men saying I don't need a woman. Companionship seems to be somewhat corrupted, but in the last couple of weeks, I've noticed a few of my Facebook friends getting married. Noticed that a few of my Facebook friends are getting engaged. So once again, I believe that the rhetoric is not true. I believe that the rhetoric is just simply rhetoric to try to continue to keep us divided. But then I had a conversation with a homegirl of mine today who told me that, James Kirk, I'm in a full-blown relationship. She's about in her late 40s, never been married, no children. But she said, I'm in a full-blown relationship. She said, but James, I don't care if I ever get married. Hey, what's up, Dawood? And Dawood, I'm not going to start the process of marriage or whether or not it's a contract or any of those types of things. My issue is that it's causing us not to relate. The fact that we don't even want to relate one to the other. And so when we get to the point of trying to figure out why is it that men and women, more specifically black men and black women, are getting to a place where we don't want to tolerate each other, don't want to deal with each other, it's a problem. It's a real problem. And we got to figure it out, because what we fail to realize is that we allow so many other outside entities to affect how we relate. And when you ask them, when they're doing something that they don't understand culturally, right? Because our cultural DNA is different. They come from an egalitarian culture. We come from a being culture. Egalitarian culture says, get a husband, a wife, then get your wife, your husband, 2.5 kids, a dog, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, get all you can all you get, and you're good to go. Mind your business and don't bother anybody else's business. But we don't come from that. Africa, we had grandmama and them in our business. We had auntie and them in our business. We had all the elders in our business. Because if we ever had an issue within the context of our relationships, we didn't have to worry about going to therapy, as we talk about. Now, I don't have no problem with therapists. Let's get that understood. I don't have a problem with therapists. But grandmama and them used to be the therapist. And granddaddy used to be the therapist. And you could trust, here it is, you could trust the preacher or the religious leader to be the therapist in that scenario. But now things have changed so much. So I want to know, I'm trying to figure out, maybe you can help me. What is it going to take for us to start to build healthy relationships? Now, here's one of the things that I've also noticed. Dawood, RJ, y'all help me out with this one. And if y'all would share this thread, let's try to get some more men and women, especially young men, young women that are single, that are trying to get in relationships. They're trying to want to break down some barriers. A little bit about me, of course. Those that know me, I was married for 20 years. I made it 20 years at 3 children. That marriage produced 3 children. We're no longer together, but we did something to be able to get along for 20 years. And in that 20 years, we probably argued 2 or 3 times. So communication never was really our issue. Now, probably sometimes there's your lack of communication as well. So I'll get to that later. So let's. One thing I've noticed here lately is that everybody has a list of what they want in a partner. Everybody has a list. You know, women, they might say, I want him to be 6 feet 2 inches tall, and I want him to be 225 pounds, and I want him to make 6 figures on the job. I want to make at least $100,000 on the job, and I want him to dress this kind of way, and I want him to have a 750 credit score, and I want him to love the Lord with all my heart, and I want him to make me breakfast in bed, and I want to do all these things. And men might say, I want her to be, 5'6", 5'7", and below, and I want her to weigh this, and I want her to be fit, and I want her to be feminine, and I want her to have faith, and I want her to respect me, and I want all of these things. And we have these lists of how we build, like Build-A-Bear. You used to be able to go to the toy store in the mall and allow your child to build a Build-A-Bear. They could build a product, Build-A-Bear just like they want them. We want to do the same thing in relationships. Y'all talk back to me. Let's because I want to know what's on your list. Dawood, what are you looking for in a woman? RJ, I know you're already in a relationship, but if you're in the comments now, I want this. Don't let this be a monologue tonight. Y'all let's let this be a dialogue. Y'all talk to me, and I'll talk back to you. But what are some things, if you're single, what are some things you're looking for in a partner? What kind of qualities are you looking for? Because I want to know what's on your list. What's on your list? Dawood said you want someone who is selfless, and you want someone who is honest. Those are good intangible qualities. Though you can't see that, you don't look at that in the mirror. You can't dress that up. Either you are honest, or either you are selfless, or you're not. I like that. That's a good quality. And Dawood, I applaud you, because your first quality that you said was not one that was olfactory. It's not one that's visible, because most of us start with the visible. Because one of the first stages of chemistry is personal attraction, right? We talk about chemistry, and let me give y'all a quick definition of what chemistry is. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but chemistry is an energy. It's an energetic connection that can be felt between two people. So when people are looking for lists, I'm looking for chemistry. I mean, because I can have all these things on my list, but we might not even like each other. Does that make sense? I mean, we can have, and you might, because I might want to. I'm hypothetically speaking. Do not hold me accountable for what I'm about to say. Please don't. But I might like them 5'4" and below, 150 pounds and below. I might like them with a certain type of hair. I might like all these types of things, right? And they got all that down, body type. I mean, all these. But then we can't even have a conversation, or we don't have anything in common, right? I would prefer to have chemistry. Here that chemistry is again. It's an energy. It's an energetic connection that you can feel. Let's talk about some of the indicators of chemistry are. Number one, it's some body language cues. If you and her, or you and him, have certain type of chemistry, y'all remember when we were young, and you start dating somebody, you start having that little feeling in the pit of your stomach, and we call those butterflies. That's an indicator of chemistry. If somebody still gives you butterflies, or if somebody gives you butterflies, that's probably chemistry, and that's a good thing. Another thing, you start getting around people now. Now at 50, I might be a little too old for this, so I'm not going to necessarily say that I don't need anything to make my heart rate go up, unless I'm going to go walking on a treadmill or something. But I'm joking. But if rapid heart rate, smiling, find yourself staring at somebody, prolonged eye contact, those things are chemistry. I would rather have chemistry than to have certain things on my list. But real talk, some of y'all that are in the chat now, when you start looking into get into relationships, or if you're single now and you have a potential, if you have a, you want you're looking for a potential partner, what's some of the things you're looking for? What's some of the things you're looking for? Dawood said honesty and selflessness. What else, Dawood? What are some other things you're looking for when it comes to chemistry? Excuse me, not chemistry. When it comes to your list that you're for your potential mate, that you, Don, what's some things, Don Taylor? What's some things? If you're building a list of what you want in a partner, what's some things you want? I mean, does he have to make a certain amount of money? Does he have to be a certain height? For instance, if you are 5'8" and you're a young lady, you're 5'8", would you date a 5'5" man? Would you date one that's 5'4"? Y'all talk back to me and let me know. Hold on, let me put this out here. We got some pop-ups on the computer. Got some pop-ups. Let me know what do y'all think? What do y'all think? Because I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm personally, I'm looking at this point now, as I get older, I'm trying to be a little bit more mature in my selection process. You know, as a youngster, you wanted things a certain way. And you wasn't going to deviate from those things. I mean, but I guess that's a twofold thought on that, because sometimes I know young cats that'll pretty much take anybody or anything, and I am probably far from the one who would do that. So answer that question for me, for real. Unless everybody on the live right now is married, and if you're all married, who else? He said communication is a must. She has to be no bigger than 145 pounds, and we want to be about 5'6", and he wants her to be a true friend. So let me ask you this, Dawood. If she's 5'8", 165, but she is selfless, she's honest, she communicates well, and she exemplifies all the qualities of a true friend, is she disqualified because she's not 5'6", 145 pounds? Is she disqualified? Same question for anybody else that's listening right now. What's some of Dawood is giving me his list, because I honestly believe that a lot of us have lists, and what we end up doing is we end up pricing ourselves out of our market. He said, no, no, you will compromise. And I'm glad. Thank you, Dawood. I'm glad to hear you say that you will compromise, because a lot of men and women aren't willing to compromise. And therefore, because they're not willing, and then, because now notice what you said. You said you're willing to compromise, but you didn't say you were willing to settle. There's a difference between compromising and settle. Would y'all agree with that? Would you agree? Because I hear people all the time say, I ain't gonna settle. I know what I want, so I'm not gonna settle. Yeah, but you're alone. And it's and I know you rather be. I don't know. I know I try to give these little disclaimers, or these little what you call the trampolines that you can fall on by saying, I know that that you have your desires, and I know this and that. But at the end of the day, and you shouldn't have to settle. Don't get me wrong. But if you have chemistry with someone, if someone makes you smile, Dawood just said that his preference is to have a young lady that's 5'6", 145 pounds. But if she's 5'8", 165, and she exemplifies all the other qualities that she likes, he said he's good with it. Yeah, definitely a difference between compromising and settling. And I would think that settling is probably worse than compromising. That means now, let me see if I can think of an example of settling. Okay, of settling. Okay, so Dawood said he wants somebody who's honest, who's selfless, who communicates well, and a true friend. He wants her to be 5'6" and 145. Now, what if she's 5'6" and 145? She doesn't communicate well. She's not a true friend. She's not very honest, and she's certainly not selfless. But because she's 5'6" and she's 145, he said, you know what? I'm going to rock with you because you 5'6". Now she's already exemplified qualities, saying she's already said exemplified these qualities that show she's not going to be a true friend. She's not going to communicate well, but simply because she's 5'6" and 145, then he decides to stay with her. To me, that's settling. Would y'all agree with that? But by the same token, she has communication down. She's a true friend. She's selfless. She's honest. She's a little bit bigger, right? That's not settling. That's compromise. And there's a difference. And I think that's the difference. So yeah, Candace, Nicole, I think that there is a very distinct difference between compromising and settling. What's another example of settling? Because I think we get that wrong. We get that wrong. We say that because we'll put this glorified, amplified list out that can't nobody reach, can't nobody keep all those commandments. It's impossible for anybody to meet all of those qualifications. And then when can't anybody meet them, then you say, well, I'm not settling. Okay, good, be alone. I mean, I guess that's how it works. I don't know. But y'all help me out. What are some other qualities? Who's this calling me? Okay. But that's what's some other things you want to list? I know is height a requirement, ladies? Is height a requirement? If you're with a man, does he have to be taller than you? And if you're with a man, does he have to, if you're a professional, or even, you know what? Let's take it back. You're not a professional. You make average salary. Not when I say professional, I mean making six figures. But you're making an average 30, 40, $50,000 a year. Does he have to make more than you, or can he make the same thing you make? You make 50, he make 50. 50 plus 50 is 100. Can y'all do that? Would that work? Somebody amen, like somebody let me know if that'll work. Because I'm trying, like I said, because I think lists are limiting our options. And so I think the settling comes in when we decide that we're going to be alone. Yeah, that's what I think. And I'm like I said, I'm not. My name is James. It ain't Jesus, and I don't think I have all the answers. And these are just opinions, one man's opinions. But I think the settling comes in, especially when you have. I'm never settling again, and character is huge for me. If I don't feel a hell yes about someone, then it's a hell no. Now, let me put that. Let's put your comment up, because I really like that comment. You said, I'm never settling again. I wouldn't. And character is huge for me. If I don't feel a hell yes about someone, then it's a hell no. I love that, because you didn't say much about a list, but you did say something about this right here. Hold on, is this it? Yeah, you said something right here. You're saying that whoever you're with, more than anything, you gotta feel your hell yes. And I'm gonna tell you something, women, y'all's intuition is amazing. That's a superpower. Woman's intuition is a superpower. And if you use it properly, y'all have influenced kings and presidents and CEOs and all types of things, right? Because that woman's intuition and that power is amazing. So if you don't feel a hell yes, I don't blame you. It would definitely be a hell no for me. And Dawood, I don't know if you're still there. And brothers, if whoever's on here, I'm the same way. If I'm not feeling you, then what are we doing? Because I need somebody that I'm with, that, like, one thing about it, I want to be with somebody who we can almost complete each other's sentences, right? Who we learn each other's diets when we go to certain restaurants. There's certain expectations. We've explored each other and learned each other, and the research has revealed certain intricacies, right? And those intricacies now are indelibly impressed in my head, because I've learned her behavior patterns. I've learned her habits. I've learned the things that she likes and the things that she loves. And I pull those tools out, right? Because when I pull them out, I'm using them to make life easier for her. I'm using them to make life more convenient for her. I'm using them to speak to her through her love language. But watch this. That's not a one-way street. That's a two-way street. That goes both ways. As we get to know each other, as we become more intimate and we start to practice intimacy. Intimacy means into me, I see, into you, I see, right? We start to really, and I think that starts, Candace, like you just said, with feeling a hell yes. What you say, Dawood? I miss it. I know that if we can make the intangible, let me put your screen. You usually say good stuff. Dawood said, I know that if we could make the intangibles more valuable than the tangibles, then compassion could make us deal with the relationship. Yep. Now, no one should be able to dispute what he just said. He said, if we could make the intangible things, and the intangible things, like you just said, Candace, the character. And I love this. I love this. Now, this is grown folk conversation because, Candace, you're saying character means a whole lot to you. Dawood, you're saying you're looking for someone who's honest and selfless, who doesn't mind communicating, that's worth being a true friend. All of those things are very, very intangible. I gave a whole bunch of lists about some tangible things about money, and because that's what people in society, that's all you hear on social media. And I mean, everybody's asking for this, and well, looking to see what they can get out of this, or they, everybody's opportunistic in relationships. But y'all ain't saying that. Y'all are saying that if we can figure out how to make the intangible things more valuable, and then the tangible things, he said, more valuable than the tangibles, then compassion would make us deal with relationships spiritually. In other words, we'll take the time to become intimate. We'll take the time to get to know each other. We're not leading with just sex. And I ain't hating on nobody. If that's your thing, do your thing. But once you give that up, what you got left? What am I working towards? What's the prize in this whole relationship, right? Am I messing somebody up? Messing somebody's game up. If I'm messing your game up, send me a letter or whatever. I don't care. Send me an email. I'm not going to read it and respond anyway, but still. But yeah, real talk. Gotta make me this gotta make me. What's not who's the prize, but what's the prize? Because the prize ought to be a good relationship. I mean, I'm just saying it like it is, man. I'm saying it like it is. You Dawood, if you want to come on and say something, I'll always let you come on in as well. But that's what we have to work on. We have to work on really the compassion that you're talking about, so that we get to know each other and court each other and learn each other. We skip steps. We go from 0 to 100. Well, we don't. I mean, I'm just going by what I see nowadays. And I'm finally decided I'm going to open myself up and seeing how much things have changed. It's exhausting. And it makes me almost, Candace and Dawood, almost make me want to settle and say, you know what? But I don't want to grow old alone, because sometimes I sit around and say, what if I get my father? He had a heart attack, a cardiac arrest a couple of weeks ago, and thankfully he was at the school when it happened, because my mother was out of town. Suppose he had cardiac arrest while he was still at home, and my mother was out of town, and no one was at the house, right? And I think about that sometimes, because after divorce, of course, the man is usually the casualty and the kids stay with the wife and all that kind of stuff, right? So I'm over here by myself. When I used to wonder sometimes, Dawood, if something were to happen to me, who would know? Who would find out? I mean, how long would it take before somebody found out if I passed out, or if I had a heart attack, or anything of the sort? So I think that's another good reason to have companionship, to have somebody who cares about you, who's looking out for you. Because you hear the stories all the time of old men in nursing homes dying alone. At least women have the children coming to check on them, but men dying alone, that's one thing I do not want to do, is die alone. But, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to put a capital B-U-T, all caps, but I refuse to allow anything to come into my life that's going to disturb my peace. Because I got too much. I worked too hard to get this peace. I saw a post today. Let me read this post to y'all. Let me read this post. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Let me read this post. I got to get on Facebook on my phone to find it. But this post blessed me today. And I really, really, really felt where he was coming from with this. There it is, Dantelin. He said, "No one will ever know." Yeah, check this out. I might type this in a minute. Okay, I'm gonna send you the link. Hold on. I don't have my headphones on, so I might not be able to hear you very well, but I'm gonna send it to you right now. Hold on, Messenger. Y'all share this stream because we're gonna talk. If y'all want to talk about something else, I want to talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. Today is the anniversary of my mother's death, so I've been quiet all day. I want to talk now. So here you go, Dawood. But I'm gonna finish reading this quote. Give me 1 second. But this quote says, "No one will ever know the violence it took to become this gentle." Man, that one blew me. That one. Let me see if I can find that. That's deep. Listen to this again. No one will ever know the violence it took to become this gentle. I'm so unbothered now. I mean, the things that used to stress me out. I mean, stuff that that could get you cussed out. Because I'm a pretty good cusser, and I can cuss with or without cuss words. I can do it pretty good. I'm a pretty good cusser, right? And being a good cusser, man, I would do it at a moment's notice. But now I've become a lot more settled. Things don't bother me the way they used to bother me, man. I mean, it takes a lot to stress me out right now. I got such an it gaff mentality. It gaff, y'all can figure that out. I don't get, yeah, it gaff. I got such an it gaff mentality now. But at the same time, I have compassion about what I care about. So what it makes me do in my older age is it makes me a little bit wiser when it comes to choosing my battles. Hold on, let me get Dawood here. Let me talk about. What's up, Dawood?
Greetings.
You doing all right, my friend?
Oh yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good. Yeah.
All right,
Hey,
what you want to say? Come on, talk to us.
It's a nice topic that you got, man. It's so like, it seemed like ever since Kevin Samuels, brought it to the forefront and passed away, you got a lot of podcasts, man, but it be a lot of rhetoric. It don't be like how you speaking reality. They keeping up with the Joneses. They speaking about the things that are tangible versus intangible. Like you said, man, I'll be thinking you have the thoughts now because you're getting older. Like if you got sick and would happen to transition in the house, who would find you? Different things. You thinking like that now. But these other podcasters, they still thinking about the outer adorning, just fixing up the outside. They're not working on the inside. So until they work on themselves, they cannot be any of any use to anyone else. And I'm gonna show you something. Remember how you said that there's a difference between compromising and settling?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I always tell a woman when I meet her, one of my things are, if I can't use you, then you're useless. But some would take that in a negative connotation, but then I have to break it down to them and say, now listen, if you have one sock and it doesn't have the other match, then it's useless. Am I correct?
Pretty much.
It's not a bad thing. You want to be useful in some type of way. So when I would say that, they would take it in the wrong way, but we have to be able to bring something to the table, not that's tangible. Oh, he got to have a good job, or okay. So, a lot of rich people today, once they become rich, they realize that it ain't even about the money. Now they work on trying to get into the kingdom because they realize that the money is nothing. That's the same way it is with relationships. Okay, once you get all of this, what good is it if y'all ain't getting along?
Yeah, that's it. But and anybody else that wants to chime in, feel free to ask me for the link, because we just talking right now. We just talking. But Dawood, Candace, this is my thing. I think one of our biggest issues is that so many men and women. I don't think we have a female problem. I don't think we have a male problem. I think we have a people problem. because people are flawed. It's not that men are flawed. It's not just that women are flawed, but people are flawed, right? And we can walk around here and act like our stuff don't stink. But I mean, typically most of our stuff, if you're honest, when you get up, it stunk too. You know what I'm saying? But what we like to do is we like to practice this point the finger thing, right? We point the finger at everybody else, but what we fail to realize is that while we point the finger at everybody else, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 more fingers that are pointed in the opposite direction of the way we're pointed, right? And what those 4 fingers are telling us, if we listen, because they are speaking, they might speak subliminally, they might speak indirectly, you know what I'm saying? They might not have audible words, but they're speaking. And what they're saying oftentimes is, go get in the mirror and get yourself together before you try to sit around and tell everybody else what's wrong with them. Am I right about that or am I wrong?
Right.
Yeah. Dude, I know for a fact that I have things that I had to work on. You know, and honestly, guess what? She probably wouldn't have left me if I didn't have to work on those things. You know what I'm saying? If I hadn't worked on those things, or if those things weren't brought to light, or if I didn't find out too late, guess what? But I didn't spend enough time in the mirror. I didn't spend enough time in the mirror. And I hate to hear, I had a young lady, man, and me and you talking, Dawood, me and you talking. I had a young lady tell me that I'm supposed to do this, this, and this for her because she's the prize. I said, I don't even know if I like you. What I mean, so if we going from 0 to 10, what happened to 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5? How we jump from 0 to 8 and 0 to 9? You know what I'm saying? But nobody wants to go through the proper steps.
You know what it is?
Tell me.
As soon as a woman tell you what you gonna do, she kills the whole hunt.
Yeah.
She kills the whole, because guess what? A real woman, she ain't gonna be nothing but be herself. She's not gonna have to tell you what you need to do. If y'all have that connection that you were talking about, it's gonna be effortless.
Man, bro, let me listen. We were talking about this on another. we were talking about this on another show the other day, right? We were talking about, they were talking about, and women, y'all let me know. Women, do y'all pursue men? Do y'all chase Ellen, Candace? Do y'all pursue men? Do y'all chase men? And they were asking this question. They were talking about, should women go and ask men to marry them, all this type of thing. And I said, do not chase me. Because if you want to turn me off, I promise you that is not the way if you want to turn me on, that's not the way to do it. Don't, like I always say, and Dawood, you've heard me say this plenty of times. You can drop breadcrumbs. If you're interested, man, put popcorn, put bread out, if you like me and you feel like I'm feeling you, and I haven't came that way yet, man, put bread all around. You know what I'm saying? Do like Hansel and Gretel and leave me a trail to you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna start hunting, man. And hunters have specific hunting techniques. You know what I'm saying? A hunter will go so far, and to keep from getting lost, he'll break a twig. Am I saying this right? And he'll break a twig right here. And if he get a little bit deeper, then he'll break another twig, right? And he's following these things because even if he gets so far, he has to know how to get back. And even if he don't have to go back, he's saying somebody else behind him might be coming. So he's going to leave a trail for them. So with us being hunters, we have certain techniques that women just aren't supposed to have. I ain't gonna say you don't have them. Some of you do. I get it. But I said supposed to have. So you be the hunted and let us hunt.
But you know what? Sometime, man, we have to just be led by, because this thing is spiritual.
Very much so.
So sometimes we have to get away from tradition that the man shouldn't, or the woman shouldn't say something. Like some men are not assertive. They need a little nudge. You know what I'm saying?
But I think that's what the breadcrumbs are, though.
Right, exactly. Because you know what? Like, I've seen brothers that's they just shy. Yeah. Matter of fact, I don't know what it was, but my brother gave me something. He was like, man, if you don't say something to the woman, you'll always be wondering what would have happened if you did. So
Yeah.
I was like, you right. So it gave me a little more confidence to approach a woman, whether you believe it or not. I had a problem with kind of, the dang, what if she don't,
But
you know,
let's talk about that though. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Because I'm not gonna say I've always been an introvert, but I am one now, right? So I'm not the one who really goes out at all. Are you still there?
right.
Okay, I thought you were froze. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm not the one to walk up on strange people, talking to them a whole lot, all that kind of stuff. But what that lets me know, because Dawood, I know dudes that'll walk up on every woman. They'll just go through the bar speaking to everybody, right? I'm not that one, but if I speak to this one, that's probably the one I'm going to end up talking to that night. You understand what I'm saying? So I don't
Yeah.
think it's a matter of speaking to. It's not quantity. I think it's more quality. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want to like, for instance, after having been married all these years, finally decided that I'm cool with dating again, all that kind of stuff. Man, I'm not gonna be out here no long time trying to date multiple. Hope if I like you and we got chemistry, we probably gonna be closest to at least you're gonna be the one, and hopefully you're gonna end up being. I'm just not gonna be doing that, bro. I mean, I just don't have that in me like that. I don't have it in me.
Hey, do you remember you said a little earlier ago about how draining it is now?
Mm-hmm.
And I promise you, the age that you and I are at now, everybody has gotten tired. Everybody, listen.
Yeah,
One thing about me, I'm very analytical. If you ask right now 10 people would they date, most of them gonna say, if they our age, they're gonna be like, man, I don't know, because people are bringing so much with them from way back there when they shouldn't do that. They got to get everybody got to start at 100. When you're dealing in my opinion,
that's good.
You should
That's real good.
you
That's
should
good.
not be all of us are suspecting the negative out of each other and still trying to talk to each other. If you don't think greatly of me, then why even deal with me?
That's the point. That's why I say I'm not going talking to everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Number one, like you just said, and I know it's a shallow place to start, but you said it starts with you. Well, you didn't give any specific order, but the first thing typically the first thing we see is what we see.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So the first thing you're gonna see is that 5'6", 145, point blank. That means
Point blank.
Yeah, that's me. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. You're gonna see that 5'6", 145, and then from the 5'6", 145, then you're gonna see if she's honest. Then you're gonna start to learn if she's selfless. Then you're gonna learn if she's a good communicator, and if all those things, that equation adds up, then maybe she can turn out to be a true friend. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
But guess what? Because there are other avenues of meeting people nowadays. You don't always have to go to the bar. You don't always go to the church. You're not always at the grocery store. Now you got this whole online dating thing. You got social media. I asked the question on here. What was it at? Let me see if I can find this question I was looking for right here. Hold on. Let me look for it. Not that one. Yeah. That ain't what I was looking for either. Limerence of the state of here. This is I know it's on here, so y'all don't talk about me. Yeah. Is it possible to be compatible with someone that you've never met in person? That's the question.
Is that it right there? You just look like you had passed. It said compatibility.
Let me see.
Right there.
Yeah. This includes more than logical. No, this ain't the one I'm looking for.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it's in there. That was chemistry versus compatibility. But my question is there a way? Do you feel like you can be? Do you think you can have chemistry with someone? And I'm asking the people in the chat this question as well. Ellen, if you're still there, Candace, do you think you can have chemistry with someone that you never met in person? Do you think you can? And I think you can. I think you can develop chemistry. You can find somebody that you enjoy talking to, that y'all start to find out that you think you have things in common. Dawood, you can find out if she's honest. You can find out if she's selfless. Try to spirit by the spirit, yeah. You can find out, and she's obviously a good communicator if y'all are able to communicate online, right? And she might mess around and be a true friend. But heck, check this out. Here it is. She, Pastor Wilburn, but she lied. She's not 5'6". She's not 145. In fact, she's 5'9", and she's, I ain't gonna say 415. I'm not gonna do that to you. But she's 5'9", 185. But communicates well, honest, selfless, and is a hell of a friend. What you gonna do?
I'm taking her. I'm still taking her. Cause guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Hey man, we getting old. We getting older. Your physical anatomy is declining too.
I know, bro. I got you. I feel
So
you.
so
I
so
feel
you
you.
got to do. You got to, like I said, the intangible things has to hold precedence over the tangible.
Yeah. It's as we mature, it should. I wish I could get past the wheelboard.
Hey, guess what you could do with that 185?
What's that?
And we pull the bread away from the table and go walk together and talk together. We can change the
What if
physical.
she might be cool with that 185 though. She don't want to change.
Right, but I'm gonna be strategic. I'm gonna get her where I want to get her because we're gonna walk and talk about it, about other things. See, you listen. You can't. You have to. It's a challenge. That's how you making a relationship exciting when you doing things and getting people to do something that you want. They don't even know what you're doing.
You don't walk a grown woman, man. You walk dogs.
No, we walking together.
You walk the dog together.
No. But that's extra. See, I work out. I work out and exercise, so you can get them. Like, let's go take a walk at the park. Let's go talk. Let's go. Listen, I prep the meals. See, and that's what the sisters are not doing for us. If you want your man to be a certain way, if you want your man's stamina to stay up, then feed him the right way.
It's some sisters doing that now. Don't we?
That's right. Yeah.
We can't, see, that's what I'm saying. You can't point the finger and use universal language. You can't use general language in a specific context.
Right.
And that's what we got to get to the point of doing, because we make a blanket statement like that. Then the ones that feel like they're attacked, they'll run around and start saying, why are you attacking me? Why are you attacking me?
And you know what? You right. And I have to work on that, even though I didn't mean it the way it came out. You are absolutely, man. You know what? You have to, and this is what I'm doing, and what I'm doing right now is what all of us had to do. You corrected me, and I didn't try to say, I ain't try to fight with it. You right, because if you ain't putting it out there the right way, people will take it out of content, and there it is.
Absolutely,
yep, you're right.
And and I want you to notice something else about that. I'm a couple years older than you, right?
You're right.
I did that man to man.
I appreciate that.
But here's my point. I think sisters need to do the same thing to other younger sisters too, though. When they're because I'm personally, I'm not checking a woman. I have never been a woman. I ain't trying to be a woman. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get a manicure, but I don't even put polish on that joke. I let them buff them.
Me too.
Woman polish on me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm a man. And that's all I know is how to be a man. So I'm not trying to tell a woman how to be a woman. But I think because at a certain point, this new modernized sister started to think that grandmama was weak and started calling grandmama weak. And I think what it did was it weakened the substructure of the woman that we know now. You understand what I'm saying? There's a nurturing that's missing. And I think that sisters have to fix that amongst sisters. I don't think men can tell you, because as long as we tell them, we can, like you just said a minute ago, they're gonna always think we're pointing the finger at them.
Yes.
When you find yourself pointing the finger at somebody, so when somebody's in a defense mode, they're gonna fight. Like you just said a minute ago, most relationships that we end up in right now. Think about it. When we come into the new relationship, when I go into one thing I did not want to do going into a new relationship was bring the baggage of my old relationship. I couldn't go into a new relationship still wondering if I could have fixed the last one. You know what I'm saying? Or where I went wrong in the last one, or
Right.
if you know, all those things that I was trying, you know, I'm trying to rationalize in my head that wouldn't have been fair to my new partner because she didn't sign up for that. So you know what I did, man? I put myself on pause for almost 5 years, on straight pause. I wasn't dating. I wasn't doing. I might have been on one date, and that was with a friend to take her out for her birthday in 5 years. I just wasn't ready, and wasn't gonna do it. So I wasn't gonna mess nobody up, and not until I was healed. Because if you
Yes.
walk, who walks around with open wounds?
See, and that's another example of selflessness.
But answer
You
that
was
question: who walks around with open wounds?
nobody.
Would you go if you just physically bleeding, and you know you bleeding? Are you gonna walk around? That's just like right now. If I got COVID, right? And I know I'm sneezing and I'm coughing and I got a fever. Why would I walk in a room full of people? Help me. But that's what happens. And because you were saying that, and I want you to elaborate on that a little bit more. You said that whenever you start a relationship, you want to automatically start by giving that other person 100, right?
Yes.
In
Right.
other words, and when you give that other person, you let that other person start off. I used to teach my kids that in school. I said, your teachers every semester you start off with 100. At any points you give away, you gave that away. So if you give away 10 points, now you got a B. Okay, Pastor Wilmar, you got a B when you had an A. And why did you give those 10 points away? And I think we do the same thing, especially if we go into a relationship with preconceived notions. If we're still thinking about our past relationship, that person has automatically dropped from 100 to 95. And then when they do something that resembles our past relationship, then that person drops from 95 to 88. And then you start comparing the two people, because even though they got different fingerprints, even though they're two totally separate, different individuals, right? But you keep seeing flashes of the past in this new situation. And instead of working through it, because if you were smart, you would be able to recognize the signs from the past, and if it's worth it to you, and that's the question. If it's worth it to you, then you'll start to build a bridge to get past what you're currently dealing with right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And you also get a chance to, if we be honest, once you get out of, like you said, you know what? It was some things that I need to fix in my marriage that if I'd have been able to see them, I could have saved it. So now that you not in the marriage, you've worked on you. So now you can, when you see the old you trying to stick his head up, you say, no, we're not doing that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? That's coming to where you have to work on yourself. Like, man, it's important. Like you said, a lot of people come in with an open wound they have not healed.
Yeah. And you know what, man? And then other people think that, because you know what, man, we have a strange phenomenon, right? We got like a lot of men and women like in their mid to late 40s that have never been married. You know what I'm saying? Never been married, don't know what marriage looks like, didn't get marriage counseling, don't have marriage coaches. And when I say coaches, I mean examples, people that you can watch, right?
Right.
And they think they understand, and rather than get in it and grow together. And that's the key. In any marriage, any relationship, the process is how the challenge. Let me see how I can say this. The challenge, and I've said it before. Okay, the challenge is to figure out how to manage the growth, because growth is going to take place, right? If you're in a relationship, like if you're 47?
Mm-hmm.
So you're 47 years old now. So if you got married next year, you'll be 48, right?
Right.
In 10 years, you'll be 58 years old. Do you think you'll be the same person at 58 that you were at 48?
No.
Do you think if you married somebody, do you think she would be the same person 10 years from now that she is right now?
No.
So, but the thing is, so growth has taken place in those 10 years, right?
Right.
But sometimes when you want to grow up, you really grow apart. Or sometimes when you want to grow up, you find yourself growing in another direction. Or sometimes when you want to grow up, you find yourself having to deal with growing pains. So here's the challenge in a relationship is how do you figure out, how do you figure out how to manage the growth? So if you manage the growth to make sure that instead of growing apart or instead of growing in a different direction, you know it's going to be pain, but you just manage the pain, right? And because when the pain comes, instead of going to bed angry, y'all talk about it. Or when you start to have grievous words and the tone start to change, y'all take 5 minutes and come back and reapproach the same conversation, right? Because
Right.
at that point now you're managing the growth. And if
Hey, that's the
Huh?
that's the compassion that
Yes,
I was
sir.
talking about.
Yes, sir.
When you argue, if you really have compassion for that person, you're not going to be quick to offend them. You're going to say, hold on, wait a minute. I care about this person. Let me step away. Let me see if I can see, because I have this man mentored me since I was 15, and I rarely see him with his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because his wife, mother stayed in down there in Prescott, but his mother is in Arkansas, right? In Little Rock.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I call him Pops. I said, how was your marriage? Because I rarely see you with your wife. He said, well, we just make it work. Her mother's down there not doing too well, and she want to spend as much time with her mother. And my mother's here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I say again, is when the truth, one thing about the truth, it's full circle. If you don't make it about the tangible things and keep the intangible things priority, it works.
Absolutely.
I really believe it works, man. We stop looking at the physical, stop looking at the material. That's why I think the problem lies. That status quo. You supposed to have this type of house. You supposed to have this type of car. You supposed to be making this type of money. So we start putting pressure. We start putting false expectations on one another,
Wow.
and
That's
it
good.
tears us apart.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. That's good. And the thing is that when you put those unrealistic expectations on people and then they fall short, you act like it's the end of the world, right? I'm be honest, some of the best teachers in school, I had a teacher tell me, he said, it's not the lesson isn't always in the material. Sometimes the lesson is in the classroom. It's the conversation. I don't really care if you pass the test like that. But if you were interactive in the class and you were a part of the conversation and you did the projects, it was some practical things that you picked up, right? And those practical things are much more important than, so what happens oftentimes when you have a teacher that's more concerned about your practical performance than your test performance is every now and then he'll grade your test on the curve. And if you show enough, as you said, my friend, have compassion for somebody, when they fail a test because you want them to win, you'll grade the test on the curve. You'll say, okay, you got, you won't tell them what they did wrong, but you'll tell them what's right. And you'll tell them in a nice way. Hey, listen, this is how you were doing this, and this is what happened right here, and this is what happened right here. And in the process, you gave them the right answer. Now they're in their head, they're like, oh shoot, I got that wrong. But you didn't point the finger at them, telling them how wrong they were.
Yes.
That's called managing the growth.
Yes, that's
And
right.
if you manage the growth, now you can grow together. And when it looks like y'all gonna grow apart, blessed be the ties that bind us together. Because now we got this forgiveness. Because I'm remembering when you could have shined on me,
Come on.
or you could have embarrassed me in public, or you could have proven that you knew something that I didn't do. But rather than do that, you did what my friend Dawood said. You practiced selflessness, and you didn't take that as an opportunity to blow you up, but you used it as an opportunity to blow us both up. And I think that's what works. That's a part of managing the growth. But like my
And
friend,
I hate you don't have a bigger audience. Because see, we in reality, like I said, man, I shake my head every day when I see those podcasts that it's so generic, it's not realistic.
Man, hey, bro, man, I'm going to, I ain't gonna lie. A couple weeks ago, I was questioning whether or not I wanted to keep doing it, because we don't get the numbers that I think we deserve. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think we deserve, more listeners. I think more people need to hear it. But we get the few that we do.
I do too, man. And I know the sister Candace personally.
Okay.
Very good sister. I when you told me to share it, I shared it, and she came on because she actually have her own podcast as well.
Does she?
And man, she's the ideal sister. She can she know how to make things. See, in the scripture they talk about that type of sister. She know how to make clothes, make all type of stuff with her hands.
Mm-hmm.
See, we like you said something, man. It goes so many different ways, man. You talked about culture. We have lost our culture.
Oh,
See, when you don't know how you really supposed to be conducting yourself, and you too busy, because you got to understand something. Some of us have the spirit of our ancestors, and when you trying to impose the Roman way of living on us, there's going to be a pushback.
Absolutely.
So you're gonna be like, whoa, wait a minute. That ain't what we do. That ain't what I do. My family, like you said, they lost it when they started saying grandma was weak, but grandma was still sticking with culture because family is important in our culture.
Absolutely.
So she might have let grandpa get away with some things, but it was for the greater good of the children.
The greater good. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I know a young lady right now, and I hope don't nobody get offended, but she was married to a man and he cheated on her, whatever, and she divorced him. But now she's had a child from somebody that nobody has met. And I just asked her, I called, I said, what is the difference from you divorcing somebody that you said was cheating on you versus now you having a child from someone that is not even going to be in the child's life. He wasn't even there when you had the child. So that's why I love my the elder women. I love them, man, because the grandchildren drawn to them. It's our culture. We've lost a lot of things. We lost a lot of things in that culture.
Oh yeah.
In our culture, we lost it. And that's what we fighting at, man, because everybody has their own idea when other nations or people have a culture. They have something to identify with. So, when they be saying, like you said, it's a people's problem with us as a race. Everybody's talking now and everybody's a professional on how relationships are supposed to go. And it's not a manual or a blueprint. We don't have it anymore. We don't have it.
Nope. It was taken from us. And the thing about it is that, and this is the thing, the people that need to be talking aren't talking. The ones that have successful marriages, and that might be good on their part. You know what I'm saying? Because they realize that I had a couple of couples that I was going to ask to come on. I've asked to come on, and people have been married 30, 40 years, and you would think they had the most perfect marriage, and they'd be like, "Bruh, certain things I'm not going to bring to the forefront," and they're wise enough to do that. You understand what I'm saying? Because if I don't know where people came up with this misnomer or this ideology that people are that all marriages are peaches and cream and everything is happy and all the time and there are never any disagreements and all those types of things. That's a lie from hell. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna go through some things in marriages, right? But as I said earlier, you manage the growth. You manage the growth and you work together. And you figure it out, man. You figure it out, and you keep on working. You might not get it right today, but you got tomorrow. And if you do it the way it was intended, if you do it until death do us part, right? And we ride this thing, and we grow old together. We just gonna make sure that our good days outweigh our bad days.
Bad days, yes.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make sure these good days outweigh our bad days. we're gonna sit down and we're gonna make some goals together. And every goal we do, we're gonna mark off each milestone. You know, we're gonna work, we're gonna accomplish some goals. And once we do, we're gonna check it off the list, check it off the list. And we're gonna be partners in crime, and we're gonna get that's what we're gonna get to. But like you said, when you get in your upper 40s, or you find yourself on your second marriage, you know, I mean, I got friends now that said they'll never get married again. They said they'll never get married again. But marriage didn't do that to me. I promise you it didn't. I did not get, you know, listen, marriage did not make me this. And as bad as they talk about marriage, and they do, and I don't understand why they talk about marriage for every culture. I mean, but everybody talk about marriage so bad for us, but every other culture is still getting married. White folks still get married. Asians still get married. Mexicans getting married. But black folk, we the ones that don't want to get married no more because they want to make it seem like it's so bad. But that's because the black family is still under attack.
Yes.
And until we realize that we're under attack and put ourselves in a fortified position to start rebuilding our communities, we're going to suffer. We're going to suffer. But that requires, as I've done it so many times, men apologizing to women.
Yes.
Women accepting our apologies.
Yes.
Say it again. Men apologizing to women, which I've done it a bunch of times on this platform. Men apologizing to women. Women accepting our apology. We say, I'm sorry. You say, okay. And then we start to build the process of rebuilding these relationships.
Let me ask you something.
I'm answering questions, so you better ask me. Go ahead.
Why do you say men apologizing to the women?
I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm gonna go back to 1 Samuel 30. That David and the men left the camp.
Mm-hmm.
And when they left, the Amalekites came in and burned the city and took away the men, the women, and the children.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they were able to do that, the reason they were able to do that is because why? The men were gone.
The men were gone.
If men were home to protect the community, then the women and children would not have been placed in that vulnerable position.
I accept that for value and consideration.
I'm going to go a little farther if you let me go that farther, though. A little bit farther.
Go ahead.
All right. So as time has gone on, men were displaced at that particular time, right?
Right.
As we go farther in history, vagrancy and all that stuff during Jim Crow, who did they target every time?
The men.
Back then. When you start looking at the Welfare Act and all that type of, who did they target back then? Black men.
Yeah.
When they came up with a business plan for the privatized prison, who was the first target audience they put out there? Because they called them a super predator. They called them black. They put them black men, right? They put crack cocaine in the community and made crack with just this much cocaine in it, a 10-year mandatory sentence, right? You know, so all these things displaced and took black men out of the community. Now, whether we were taken out forcefully or if we left willingly, however it happened, it left our sisters exposed.
That's right. I'm in agreement with you. I just wanted to hear why you said it.
Everybody else here.
Listen, Jeff. That's why I asked you. Because I wanted you said the exact thing that I knew you was gonna say, but I wanted to hear. I wanted if any other brothers out there listening, so they won't think it's lopsided. The fact that you put it. That's it. Now, here's the thing. The woman has to be able to accept that apology and not think that we using these things for excuses because they actually happen.
Yeah, that's the other issue that we have. There's a divide within our community. I call it a Buppy generation, right? It's these Negroes that think that they've arrived already.
Hey, do you see what Candy said?
Huh? Yeah, I put it up there. Stop at the narrative. We don't need each other. But there's a Buppy generation among African American individuals, in my opinion, that want to discount our past because they say we need to let it go and move on towards our future. But it's so many people that have never ever came to grips with the past. You know, some people don't even know anything about the past.
Yes.
Some don't even realize it's the thing that I just said tonight that's so simple that's been ingrained in me from my father since I was 16, 17 years old. You know what I'm saying? Because he told me back then that black men would one day become extinct. You know, so with that being said, if black men are extinct, who would be there for black men, for black women?
Right.
Light bulb, you know what I'm saying? And so metaphorically, we're not there for them anymore like we should be,
Yes,
or
right.
haven't been there for them like we should be. So therefore, that's why I say we need to apologize. But
Yeah.
you will have a whole lot of what's the word I'm trying to use? I don't want to no, I'm not gonna use that word, but you'll have a whole lot of cats that'll have this archaic mentality that says we don't owe them an apology, or they don't understand that, well, I'm here. Nigga, it ain't about you. It's about the culture. It's about this generation that is displaced and that's out, that's out of kilter, that's messed up our whole socioeconomic system that's been set in place to build communities. And that's why our communities are fractured the way they are. You're right, Candace. We need to stop with this narrative that we don't need each other. We absolutely need each other.
Man, what are you talking about?
Absolutely need each other. You are 100% right. Oh, 100% right. Yeah. I don't know.
We need to see what you see. Listen, you just doing a podcast, and you've already like, I don't know. It's like, what is the answer?
Well, it's not just one answer. It's a whole bunch of answers. Because you can't have, it can't be a panacea. Can't be a panacea, which is a cure-all. When it's a whole lot when it's a plethora of problems.
Yes.
It can't be one panacea. So you have to attack it from every angle. So that's why I've chosen to attack it from Black relationships, because relationships lead to marriages, marriages leads to families, families lead to community, right?
What you said.
That's what I try to do. And that's why I continue. I'm gonna continue to have these conversations. I'm gonna get back on my advertising and all that.
Keep pounding, brother. Keep pounding, because I like you speaking the truth all the time, and I can see your compassion for the family, for the community, because you want to know what's the problem. How can we fix this? You always talking about us as a nation of people, and it's gonna take the man and the woman coming together on one accord, being forgiving, being selflessness, putting the other one before the other one. I'm gonna put you before me. Let's be, I know you went out to dinner and you and the other person fighting to pay the bill.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we got to be about taking care of each other. I'm gonna try to beat you today, doing more for you than you doing for me.
Yeah.
So won't nobody come up short at the end of the day.
That's called being selfless.
That's called being selfless.
And that's how. And bro, you know what's funny though? That's how we as a people used to be.
That's right.
Black people were loving people, man. We literally were just loving people, and we were taught to hate each other. We were taught to fight one another. We were taught to be divided with one another, and it was a process. I mean, it was a plan. It was a plot. And we've all been pawns in that plot.
Yes.
We've all been pawns in that.
You know, I lost my grandparents when I was about 10. I lost my last one, my dad's mother, in the 2000s. But I remember on my mother's father's side, all my great aunts, everybody stood together. I can go to any house and eat. The doors was always open. You didn't have to knock, just twist. They didn't even lock their doors.
Oh yeah.
You know that when those people went in the ground, I think the fiber of family went in the ground with them.
No doubt, bro. Hey, you just said something right there.
Man, the screen. Listen, my mama people come from Helena. The screen door would be open at night, and we just let the cool wind come in. We laying right there in front of. You didn't have to worry about somebody gonna break in and do nothing stupid. Everybody was family. They cook. Hey, yeah, baby, going in the kitchen. So, man, man, what happened? In the matter of 35 years or a little bit more, I've watched the fiber of what family is just deteriorate right before my eyes.
Wow. It happened, man. You just said something right. You said when those people went in the ground, it just changed. It changed a lot,
The
man.
fiber.
I never changed. I never recovered after my grandmother. My grandmother passed when I was 13 years old. I mean, no, I was 21 years old. I don't think I ever recovered from my grandmother because I mean, it wasn't really no use in going down there to visit like that. You know what I'm saying? And it was a whole bunch of things, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, you can't go in the kitchen and a woman today, no offense to the women, and get a peach cobbler made from scratch. That's love.
Yeah.
Just being able to sit down and talk and laugh. We ain't even listen, brother. What the dinner table in the house now is just for decoration because ain't nobody sitting there having dinner.
Yeah.
They
And
sit in front.
my grandmama cooked 3 meals a day, bro. I mean, because
Oh my God.
man, I'm talking about full meals. And by the time General Hospital was on, dinner was about done at 2:00. But it just was what it was by the time General Hospital came on, man. And we lived in the country, Jack. I mean,
Yeah.
man, I remember in the country, we had pear trees, we had plum trees, we had apple trees. Me and grandmama used to walk downside the field. You don't know what that means, do you? We'll walk downside the field and go pick blackberries. You know what I'm saying?
Thank
We
you.
had hogs in the backyard. We burned our own trash. But I never will forget when my auntie, I ain't gonna say her name because she might be listening. But when she would walk in that house past the time that she's supposed to walk in that house, my grandma would do it perfect. She'll give her just enough time to get in the house,
Yeah.
get her gown on, and get her behind in that bed. Then all of a sudden, my grandma would go walking across that house with that extension cord and tear that tear that butt up. Whack out, man. I'm talking about tearing that thing up.
The last, you know, and they tried to bring it back to us with the movie Soul Food with Big Mama in it, you know. And man, just like we had those times where you didn't even see grandma and grandpa get in an argument.
Nope. Anthony said the village died with the past generation. And for the past generation family, the village, he said the village, it was just a means of survival. Wow. Yeah.
And James, you said something. You talked about the pear trees. You talked about the hogs. You talked about walking down the side of the fields. Guess what? We didn't care nothing about no doggone car or no big house. Our folks weren't talking about that.
No.
They weren't caught up on that.
No, that's because that happened when we started to develop the Moore mentality.
Yes.
Because when things started changing. We started cable TV and rap videos and money and all these things, accesses and all these. We started seeing it, we wanted it. And if we wanted it, we did whatever we could to go get it, and no matter who we had to rob, steal. Because you got to remember, like I said, I'm a little older than you, so I remember how when dope started coming out in North Little Rock, you know what I'm saying? And people started, making big money, bro. People started making big in the hood, making big money, buying nice cars, putting them on Dayton's, all that. You know how we grew up, man. And that was like, okay, so and I can't, if you're gonna write all that, I'm gonna have to send you a link.
Send her the link.
Well, let me see if I got you. Go ahead. I gotta have you send. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. I'm about to send you a link, Candace.
Yeah, I'm telling you, she got a nice podcast too. Haven't been able to make it, but I remember those days too, man. In North Little Rock, man. I remember as early as '87 because I grew up in Florida when crack hit the scene. Oh my God.
You grew up in Florida?
Yep, I was born in Arkansas and moved to Florida when I was like 6. And man, you right.
Yeah, no, you're Arkansas. I mean, I remember it specifically because my friends would literally come to school during the day and then talk about, them running from the police at night and all those kinds of things. And some of our friends literally, man, I remember like when one of our friends murdered somebody else, that night, all of a sudden this cat we go to school with every day. Now he done murdered somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot going on. Yeah, you're right, Ellen. I'm from the country too. She said we didn't have much, but we were happy. We
were happy. Yes, sir.
We made mud pies. You know what I'm saying, man? Man, I used to enjoy going in the back and burning the trash. We had a slop bucket. I go get the slop bucket and go and use that to feed the hogs. Man, and wasn't nothing like the time that we would slaughter. I know you don't eat pork anymore, but whatever. But
Yeah.
We used to slaughter the hog back in the day, man. My uncle would shoot it and lower it down in the pot and burn the hair off of the hog and then send it to Mad Butcher, and Mad Butcher would cut it up and all that kind of
Wow.
stuff. And man, we would eat ham, and grandmama would fry the skins. And dude, I remember times every year grandmama would make tea cakes. You don't know nothing about tea cakes, do you?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Every year, at least once a year, grandmama would make tea cakes, man. But all of those things were cultured. And when she
Yeah.
made the tea cakes, she would bring her daughters in there and teach them how to make tea cakes. And I can only imagine the conversations they would have
Right.
during the time they were making those tea cakes. I love when the family functions would take place. And I'm not trying to be chauvinistic, sisters, when I say this, but let me just say what I'm saying, if y'all don't mind. But I love when those conversations, when we'd have those family times, and all the women would end up in one area of the house, and all the men would end up in another area of the house, because guess what? They were learning from each other.
That's right.
They were sharing intimate things, man, and that was a hierarchical relationship that
Yeah.
was being established at that particular point.
And James,
happened.
and James, you know what else?
What's that?
That's why the women back then, they had to conduct themselves a certain type of way because of grandmama.
Oh yeah.
They knew they had to answer to somebody. They wouldn't talk that way. And the same thing with the men. If you wanted to court, I even still tell this to my daughters. Hey, when you meet somebody, let's go meet his parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
We both be together. These children now, these young adults now, before we meet the young man or meet the young woman, they done already had a child together.
Yep.
You know, we lost all that, man. It's man. Because if family was always involved in it, like you said, the mothers and the grandmothers were the counselors. So when you had a problem, you could take it to grandma.
Yep. You're absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's you exactly what you're saying. Back then, you said it in the opening. Our grandmothers were the counselors.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You're 100% right on that thing, man. And it's just, I don't get it. But Anthony said something I want to read. Candace, if you want to come on, I sent you a link in your inbox. If you go in your message request, you can see the link. Ellen, send me some tea cakes. I need to inbox you my address. I want some tea cakes. She said, well, we can start with the collective men and women dropping the ego. We need a death and rebirth of the ego. Let me put it on the screen.
Yes.
Ego gets in the way, and everyone has to be right. We're all right. We've all been hurt or done wrong. We've all made mistakes that we can't take back. Now let's all apologize. I like that. Forgive each other and forgive ourselves. We all did the best we could at the time. My goodness, I know nobody said it would be easy, but does it have to be this hard? Whew, I wish you could have said that yourself. I wanted to hear the animation and the drama behind that, because I agree. You're right, because we're all flawed. Anthony said something that makes sense. He said, honestly, we didn't want what the parents. I am not gonna say I know how to chew the meat and spit out the bones. But let me finish. He said, honestly, we didn't want what the past generation passed down because we didn't understand it in our youth. We wanted our own thing. We wanted to be more like our white counterparts. There's some validity to that. But I always, like even in church, Anthony, I still like the deacons. I'm sorry. Everybody want to do this praise and worship thing. And I know you can sing and all that kind of stuff, but everybody want to do praise and worship. But I still like a charge to keep I have. I still like an old deacon song. You know what I'm saying? It's certain traditions that I just want to keep. And it's certain things that grandmama and them did that I personally still want to hold on to. And I feel like I can want some of those things that our white counterparts have without losing who I am. And I think the challenge is that so many people lose sight because of what you just said a few minutes ago. Most of our relationship, well, not most, because I don't like using quantitative terms like most and stuff, because I haven't done the research. I don't know the statistics, but I know a lot of people. What was I going to say? A lot of people, when it comes to relationships, I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought. My bad. But I mean, I've never found myself. No. I was going to say, but when you have a strong foundation, you can operate from that foundation. The problem is that most people, or a lot of people, don't have a strong foundation. And because they don't have a strong foundation, that's why when the storms of life come, the building falls. Everything in their life goes into disarray. Everything, they find themselves pointing the finger at everybody else. They find themselves saying that it's not my fault that I'm in this position. It's society's fault. All these types of things, because they never really had a foundation, and because they never had a foundation, they couldn't stand the storms of life when the storms of life came. Now, if you build with a solid foundation, if the structure falls, you can build again.
You can build again. That's right. You know, it's something about what you just said, and it's just taking accountability, man. I was told about 2 weeks ago, I ended up picking up the wrong load, and when I called it in, I told dude, I said, man, I made a mistake. He laughed. He said, I had 21 other people call in, and they made the mistake, but they wouldn't own up to it. He said, you the first one owned up to your mistakes. And it goes back to what you're saying. We got to apologize. Then the other party has to be the forgiving part and say, I accept your apology. And then from that point on, because we know when we do right from wrong. I'm almost 99% sure you know when you're doing right and when you're doing wrong. So when you called on it, just be quick to say, you right, I messed up.
Oh yeah.
Instead of saying, well, if you wouldn't have did this, I wouldn't have. No.
Yeah.
Just take accountability.
Yep.
Apologize. Fix it.
That's it. I mean, people are so consumed with wanting to be right. You know what I'm saying? That they don't want to do what's right for the relationship. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather lose this battle and win the war. You know what I'm saying? I'm be honest right now. I'm at a point now. You know, my favorite word is when something don't go my way. Okay.
Ain't that so much easier? That's so much easier.
I mean, some people might, now depending on the context, it could be depending on the context, it could be construed as passive aggression. You know what I'm saying? I get you, but you'd rather me be passively aggressive than be aggressive. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I'll just say okay, and if I say okay, then guess what? We can revisit this a little bit later. But when I tell you okay now, that means I'm not hearing you right now. And if I'm not hearing you, you can't make me hear you. And that's what I want to tell my daughters. If you're talking to a dude and it seems like things are escalating and you feel like you can't de-escalate, get out of that conversation right now. What's the use of going any farther? So if me and you are talking, we're in the middle of a conversation, we're not getting anywhere, and I say, okay, I'm done. It's not that I'm being disrespectful, it's that I'm not gonna argue. I don't argue with women, you know why? Because I don't argue with nobody I can't fight. What we arguing for? I'm not arguing with nobody I can't fight, because I'm not gonna fight a woman. There's no way, and there's nothing you can do. Man, I ain't gonna say it's nothing, but
so why are you know that's man, that's a lot of men should have heard that right there.
Bruh, what you gonna argue with somebody you can't fight? Men and women aren't supposed to fight. So what we arguing for? Now, Dawood, I don't know how big you are. I don't know. I'm probably not too, but if we had words, that testosterone in me and that testosterone in you is gonna stand up. And by the time we've had gone back and forth 4 or 5 times, or 3 or 4 times, 4 or 5 times is probably too many.
Yeah.
We got to make a decision at this point. Because the conversation is not going any farther.
Yeah.
So then typically when 2 men have this conversation, then one of them will say the famous word, well, what you gonna do?
Well, you know, I don't know what, when I came back from Florida, I came to North Little Rock. And when I came back to Little Rock, wasn't nobody talking. So it's either you gonna do something or you gonna leave it alone. You know, so I've never been the argumentative type. Now I would debate, but arguing, arguing. I'm like you, brother, especially with somebody that I care about, the woman.
Exactly.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna let you have that, but I'm gonna revisit it.
Man, I read an article that said the art of fighting fair in a relationship says that when you find yourself in an argument, give yourself 5 minutes. And whatever you had to say it again in 5 minutes. Don't say it right now while you mad. Go walk off, go get you some water, go get you some tea, whatever, smoke a cigarette, whatever whatever you need to go do.
Right.
Say to go do that. 5 minutes, come back and say, whew. Now, a few minutes ago when we were having this conversation, but this is, and then you say the same thing under different temperature. And water is still water, when you put it in the pot. It's water when the stove is on. It's water when you turn the stove up to high. It's water. You know what I'm saying? It's still water, right?
Still water.
The conversation is still the conversation, whether you say it now, whether you say it again in 5 minutes, whether we go to bed. And me and my ex, we used to have 3 a.m. conversations. I don't know why the Lord would used to wake us up at 3 o'clock in the morning every night. And we would sit in the bed, could not see each other at all. In the bed, it's pitch black, and we would say what was on our heart. So you got to find, that's called managing the growth.
Yeah.
But you got to figure out what works for you in your relationship, or what works for you. And I promise you that can really help to fortify and hopefully make some more relationships fruitful. So
yeah, man.
We got a long way to go, bro.
That's we do, but you know what? It's we have something that a lot of people don't have. Communication skills, man. You have to know. That's why I said what I said. Honesty is the foundation of any relationship. I told a young lady, I said, if you break a plate and you glue it back together, it's not going to be able to hold the same weight that it did when it was whole.
Wow.
It is so important to stay honest. Even if it hurts, tell the truth.
Yeah. And when you're younger, sometimes you don't realize, because sometimes it's not that you're not telling the truth. It is not telling the truth, because a lie is a lie any way you look at it. But sometimes when you're younger, you're doing it because you're trying to avoid hurting the person that you love. You know what I'm saying? So you try to, and you don't realize, you learn later that you hurt them more by not telling them the truth. No, they can, if you tell them the truth, they can go ahead and process it, deal with it, move on. You know what I'm saying? But when you lie, now they got to deal with the lie, then find out the real truth, then decide if they want to deal with that whole process. And it's too much.
That's what I didn't want. That's what I didn't want to have to deal with. If I go and tell the truth now, I ain't got to worry about getting caught later. So let me just go and tell it now. I
didn't feel like that at 20. Now I feel like that at 50, but I didn't feel like that at 30. I had to grow into that now. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't like people holding it over my head. Yeah. So, so I always just was like, yeah, I did it. Why you do that? Now I got to deal with that. But after it's over, it's out there. I ain't got nothing to hide.
Yeah.
So I always, I'm not asking for nothing that I'm not willing to give you.
Yeah.
And if we do this one thing
right
too,
I think we're gonna get it right this time.
We are, because I'm gonna tell you something. I always tell people this too. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
That's the golden rule.
If people really believed in that, if they really say, you know what, this is the only way I'm gonna function, nobody would offend each other.
That's true.
Because don't nobody like to be hurt. Don't nobody like to be lied to. Don't nobody like to be mistreated. So if they would do that and say, when you finna get ready to do something, you ask yourself, would I want somebody to do this to me? And it would be, I think that I'm almost certain, don't nobody want to be lied to, deceived, cheated on, any of that. So you have to ask yourself before you do it, would I want this to be done to me?
Yeah. That's what Anthony just said. That's why the elders were so important, because they gave you the truth no matter how you felt about it. Now if you give somebody the truth now, then they want to counsel you.
They want to counsel you.
Cancel culture. They want to tell you that, you can't talk to anybody like that. You can't do it, man, whatever. That's why I miss grandmama and them, Jack. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. It's not the same. I got one grandmother still living.
Man, you say tea cakes. You talking about them tea cakes and crow cakes and all this and mudberry pie.
Man, Ellen Dwyer said she gonna make us some tea cakes. I'm joking, Ellen. I ain't lying on you like that. I'm not gonna lie to that.
Man, them was the days where you knew what family was, when you had a family reunion. And man, the yard is full of, we could come together. Now you don't even have family reunions no more for
fish
real.
fries, man, and man, we said, bro, we had a time growing up in Arkansas. We
I
did.
got family members now that I've been trying to get together. My cousin, she's married. Well, they about to get a divorce now, but she's married to Neo. And we're not distance cousins. We grew up in the house together.
Okay.
And I called her and said, hey, listen, we need to get together. Your children don't know my children. And your grandmother, we was family. Man, don't you know that woman didn't contact me no more? I don't understand why we've gotten like that. Family don't even know each other no more, man. Like,
man, I'm gonna tell you something. It's because it's so easy to create a new habit. Anything you do more than 21 days becomes a new habit, right?
That's right.
So you start moving on in culture and start doing your own thing. It's so I left home in 1995, and I just left. I left Arkansas with $118 in a trunk full of clothes. That's what I left with. And when I got in the car business, because I was working on holidays and weekends most of the time, I didn't have time to come home for years. So I missed family reunions. I missed family reunion after family reunion after family reunion. I got cousins now that are in their 20s that I've never seen before.
What made you do that?
What made me leave?
Yeah, what was on your mind when if you could reflect back that far? What made you just do that?
Back then I was chasing my ex-wife. I was chasing my fiance.
Okay.
She was in school here. And so I came here, to be with her. And then when I moved here, she did 2 years of college and finished her last 2 years of college, and we ended up just staying. I think if I would have stayed in Arkansas, she might have came back to Arkansas eventually. But because I had already moved down here and all that kind of stuff, then we just ended up on, an 8-day journey turned into 40 years, just like Israel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, yeah. So I just ended up here. Let me see what Tamika said. Yes, they did. My grandmother had no filter. If she didn't like your friends, she told out our friends. We would find out this at the same time. I consider myself blessed that I have a very close-knit family. You should feel. You should.
Yes, you sure should. Yes.
And we were like that when my grandmother was alive. Both my grandmothers, when they were the proponents of putting together the family reunion. They made sure, man, for years I didn't know that you had to pay a fee to go to the family reunion, whatever that amount was.
Because that wasn't, hey, Jane, that wasn't your business.
It wasn't none of my business.
Yeah, you the child. Just come on.
And when I ate all I could, and we played, and we did basketball, and we swam, and we sat in the East End Community Center, or what was it? Not Townsend Park. What is it? What's the park in Pine Bluff? Regional Park. I mean, all those different places we would have our family reunions, man, and it would just be great, And I miss those days. I missed them, and I left. We went after things. We came down here and started making six figures, and come back home in the Mercedes Benzes and stuff, and everybody think you've arrived, but they ain't know you're struggling to pay that joker. You know what I'm saying? But they ain't got that $800 note coming every doggone month. You know what I'm saying? They don't have all those things because so many people are attracted to the symptoms of success. But watch this. We get attracted to the symptoms of success, but we don't have no substance for that success. And see, grandmama gave us a substance for the success.
Yes.
Right? Because you didn't, man, my grandmama was just as much lady and woman with us driving from Sherrill, Arkansas to Pine Bluff to town, as we called it. And I'm sitting in the back of a truck. And we taking them food stamps, and we going in there and we buying a truck full of groceries, and I'm sitting in the back. I'm just as country as I could be right now in that back of that truck riding across town. But I was happy.
You was happy.
I had a genuine smile on my face. My subjects and verbs could barely agree, but I was happy.
What price can you put on happiness?
Man, you can't put. It's priceless.
It's priceless.
And if I could have one more conversation with that old lady, Edna Earl Kirkland, I'd take it.
You know what I'm talking about?
When she sit me down and tell me about Brer Rabbit and Brer Fox and all that kind of stuff, bro, I'm telling you, those were priceless. And our children don't have that.
Nope.
Our children don't have that, man. And that's the sense of family. That's the sense of community that we've lost. And that's what leaves us, Dawood, and that's going back full circle to what started this conversation. That's what leads us to having these lists. The relationships. That's what leads us to say he got to make six figures. He's got to be this tall, or she's got to be this, look like this, or she's got to drive this, or she's got to do that, instead of just finding somebody that I have chemistry with.
Yes.
And not only that I have chemistry with, but somebody that I'm compatible with. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I've seen too in other, and you'll say this sometime. I said it. and it's been in other races because they don't care. I know they don't care, but I'll see as we call nerds, with a beautiful woman, and like the picture looks odd, but it's that chemistry.
Yep.
You be like, how you end up with her? It's that chemistry.
Man, I've had people that I've met. This is how I can tell a lot of times, especially if I meet somebody like on social media or something like that. When we have that first conversation, but I remember one time I slid in this young lady's DM on IG. I slid in the DM because it goes down in the DM. You know that, right? I'm joking.
Yeah.
But I slid in the DM and I called. We started talking at like 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning, maybe 6 o'clock by the time we started talking. Bro, when we got off the phone, we had spoken for 6 or 7 hours.
But let me ask you something. You was able to get her on the phone?
Yeah.
Wow.
Bro, well, because of what I said, I don't know, but she said because she said it was a unique approach, but whatever. But I forgot. But whatever it was, I said.
Right.
We had a couple of text conversations, and then we ended up calling, and we ended up talking for 6 or 7 hours straight. I have certain female friends that I talk to that we can literally talk on the phone for 3 or 4 hours. Then I have some female friends I can't talk to for 15 minutes. And I'm trying to
it's the chemistry.
It's the chemistry.
It's the chemistry.
And if you
I think that people that hide, I call it hiding. I don't like text messaging. I don't like inboxing. I'm still old school. Because you can pick up on your chemistry, you can pick up on the vibration of a person through their voice.
Yeah,
I think I get a better I get a better
I agree with
I get a better understanding of what you communicate with me by hearing it through your voice.
Yeah, but I'm going trot line fishing first. And I use the text message for the trot line fishing. And I don't know if I want you on the phone yet until we get through time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I said, because I know once we start talking on the phone, we're gonna keep talking because I mean I can satisfy sapiosexuals, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna have a decent conversation. I already know that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So but I want to make sure, but a conversation to me is an investment.
Yes.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so if like old girl, me and her talking for 5 or 6 hours.
I want to interject one thing. How did that thing go that you did in North Little Rock? I wasn't able to make it about the dating thing. How did that go?
It went well. It was more women than men, but the event itself went very well.
Good.
We're supposed to be doing it again. We just got to get a date together.
Let me know because I want to make that one. I was really
I got to figure out what's up with these dudes, bro. 'Cause a lot of these dudes, they don't want to. I don't know what's up with them. They don't want to have conversations with women. I don't know.
So it was more women than men.
Yeah, twice as many women as men.
Wow.
But we made it work. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the night, everybody was kind of coupled up. You know, somebody was talking to everybody by the time the night was over with. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
So we're gonna do it again. We're gonna
because you working because you want to see it work.
Man, but I had my team was with me, you know what I'm saying? But some of them didn't even show up. You know, that kind of hurt my feelings, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because we were, you know, and it wasn't that they didn't just show up. It was a no call, no show type situation. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you don't even support me to show up, then how can I expect strangers, you know, to come and support me? You know what I'm saying? And this is the first time I've ever said anything about that publicly. So I'm over it now. I was a little upset at first, but I'm over it now.
Right.
I'm over it now.
Yeah, but you give me some heads. You give me a little time. I'm coming to the. Cause I was like, I wonder how that turned out. But I figured it would be more women than men.
It was like I said, it was a pretty good event, man. Overall, the concept was right. But we're gonna do it again, and we're gonna do it.
Because we really got to learn how to talk to each other, and that's what you did. You gave my outlet. Yep, you gave my outlet. But we are so quick to get offended, and like I said, I appreciate you correcting me earlier tonight because I didn't mean it the way it came out. I appreciate that though, brother, because that could have went left. You so sensitive. You like, oh, that will. Let's straighten that out. You know, you right.
Because man, that's all. I hear people saying all the time that men bash women and that women bash men, and when we say it like the other side, like you don't do it too. And so many things that we try to make so many specific things general, and so many general things specific, and it's not. You know, it's just people. It's everything is case by case. I mean, God in His infinite wisdom, when He stooped down the power of His might and picked up a lump of clay and shaped it and molded it. When He created me, for whatever reason, Dawood, He gave me my own fingerprints. He didn't give me the same fingerprints He gives you.
Yes.
Right? So how do we put everybody in so many different categories? If I'm so individual and I'm so unique, I got my own strand of DNA. I got my own fingerprints, but then you want to lump me in a whole category. How does that work?
How that work? It don't.
How does that work? You know, how is everybody wrong because one person did you wrong? How's every man messed up because one person? How's every woman a cheater because one woman cheated on you?
Yes.
That's not the case. But we got to grow and get beyond that. We got to get to another place of dealing with each individual on a organic, personal level. You know what I'm saying? I mean, whoever I deal with, man, I'm dealing with her, and that's it. I'm not dealing with men, and that's who I'm trying to get to know at this particular point. If you got kids, I don't even want to know your kids yet. Now, if the time comes for me to get to know your kids, I'll happily get to know them. But first, let me get to know you, because if you want me to get to know your kids, and I don't even like you yet, or we're not sure if we're gonna get together, then when me and you stop messing around, and then probably the relationship with the kids is probably gonna end, right? So let's make sure we good first. I don't know. People, we got so many. We make things hard that shouldn't even be hard. You know, I don't know. I mean, I guess too much. I mean, so many things are just like too much like right for me. Just too much like right for me. But
I think now though, by listening and talking with you, man, whenever you do decide to build a relationship with a woman, I think you got it together now.
You think so?
Yeah, I think you'll take
Pray
the
hard, man. Pray
like
hard.
you said. I think you'll be doing a lot of all right, okay, and coming back to revisit. But I think you got it.
I'm definitely gonna we definitely gonna revisit, and I hope they don't take okay as too much of passive aggression. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you're gonna have to work up to that. Okay, don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think you'd have made
yeah.
it though, because you've been there for a minute, so you can
Just
come out
don't
the
handle
oven.
me, man.
Yeah,
Just,
you can come out the oven now. I think you ready.
Just don't handle me. Like if you tell me what you want to do, man, you tell me you want to go to the moon, I'll set the GPS for you. You know what I'm saying? I'll start a GoFundMe so we can get your money together, whatever. You know, just don't try to handle me, and don't bring anything other than peace over here, and we good to go. Don't come in at you. My mama, my biological mama passed away. My stepmama is in Arkansas taking care of my father, so I don't need another mother.
Yeah.
I don't need another mother. You know what I'm saying? I need a companionship. I need a compliment. COMPLEMENT. I need a compliment.
Now, what was the seeds that you was using today when you was eating your bacon? What was those?
Man, that came in the freshman. I said if we can cordially coexist, then we can. I said we can. If we cordially coexist, then we can start to do something to cohabitate in our communities or something.
Yeah.
I gotta look at it and see, but yeah, we definitely got to cordially We just got to coexist. I mean, like I said, I'm over people telling people what to do. Don't tell me what to believe. You can believe what you want to believe.
Yes.
I'm gonna respect you as a man first and foremost, and then and we can move on, man. I want to cordially coexist, so that we can start to collectively build our communities. That's what we need to do, and it's gonna take all of us.
Yeah, it's gonna take all of us.
But everybody telling everybody else that they're wrong. You know what I'm saying? And everything that you're saying is wrong is relative. What's wrong for me might not be wrong. It might be wrong, not be wrong for you. I mean, if I tell you got the wrong shoe size, and I base it on the size shoe that I wear, and I wear a 12, but you wear a 10, how can I tell you that your shoe size is wrong? It's not, you know what I'm saying? If I don't know what size I don't know, man. I'm tired of your cousins. I'm for real. They get on my nerve. Man, we've been on here almost 2 hours. I wasn't planning on being this long. I'm about to go to Walmart, Waffle House or somewhere, give me something to eat. I'm not sleepy.
They got Waffle Houses in Georgia.
And this is the originator of Waffle House. We got 4 or 5 in every county. Marlon, you hear him talking about, do we have Waffle Houses in Georgia? Yes, Lord. We got so many Waffle Houses. But I haven't had the privilege.
You can't go wrong. You can't go
video yet.
You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with Waffle House.
Man, please, an all-star. Ain't nothing like a. But I can't never complete it. I can't eat a full all-star though, because I don't understand how you get toast and a waffle on the same meal. But I take it. She said,
Man,
right.
I'm glad you did this one tonight because
There's nothing wrong with it. Respect others' decisions. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
man. We need this outlet, man, because I wish more people would have came tonight because I want to hear other people because that's how we're gonna have to do it, like you said, collectively. So everybody's voice matters. They'll, you know, the way they look at life, it matters.
Yeah. And you know, Tamika, Ellen, some of y'all ladies, if y'all ever want to come on, you're welcome.
Yes.
I don't mind. I'll send you the link and you can come on and you don't have to stay the whole time. You can come in and say what you want to say or ask a question or give me a scenario and we can talk about it, talk through it. But yeah, I definitely want to do it. I definitely want to do it for real. I'm trying to it's we got to grow organically together and we can do it. But it's gonna it's gonna take a team. And if we do it, I promise you, it's going to be good. I've enjoyed this conversation tonight, man. I appreciate you, Dawood. You always jump on and help me out every damn time.
Yeah, you know what we need we really I know this. If the women come on board, then we can make it happen.
Yeah, but I'm not looking like I said. We're not trying to build platforms. We really just trying to build.
No. I'm talking about in the community. It's gonna take out. Yeah, it's gonna take the mothers coming on in because at the end of the day, the children have a closer relationship with the mothers than with the fathers. So we can get the mothers to get the children in because right now the young children are the ones out there that's out of control. And they'll listen to mama. They'll listen to mother. Cause we know about grandpa, but we knew about big mama.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And big
it's
mama
a difference.
Put that thing on you. My grandmama had a switch that would reach all the way across the room.
What was it? A peach switch?
She ain't never hit me with it though. I don't know. I forgot. She ain't never hit me. I knew how to get out of it. I mastered the art of getting out of a whooping. I'm for real. I've always been manipulative like that. I mastered the art of getting out of I'm gonna bring my little brother and my uncle on here one day so they can talk about how I used to get out of a whooping, man. I could get out of a whooping, man. I really could. But
I can see that too with you. You know, you're very articulate with your words. Yeah, I can see that.
No, bro. Listen, I had two grandmamas in the country. So if I knew one grandmama was gonna whoop me, I called the other grandmama and tell her to come get me right quick. I'd be like, grandmama, granny getting ready to whoop me. And all of a sudden, here come that car riding down the road, pick me up. And if it happened at the other house, I'd do the same thing. Candace, me and you live in Atlanta. I live in Atlanta too. We gotta connect. We gotta connect and see if we can put together some content or something.
Yeah.
If you're here, I just looked up your page. If you're in Atlanta, I live in Atlanta. I'm in the Smyrna area. So let's get together. I'm sitting here in my little home studio right now, doing my thing. And we're working on another studio now, podcast studio down on the south side. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good. We're going to get on here again and start doing this more often.
Good.
All right, bet it up. Send me a friend request if you can, or I'll send you one, whatever. And we'll you always enjoy my podcast. I appreciate you always enjoy my podcast. Just keep sharing my stuff, okay? And we're gonna keep talking. I got a whole bunch of stuff.
That's what I'm gonna do too. The next time you come on, I'm gonna share it with more people.
I want to talk about Ja Morant. I want to talk about Lamar. What's Lamar's last name? Lamar Jackson and him and what they're doing to him with his contract.
Yes.
Talk about. It's a whole bunch of things I want to talk about. But I'm trying to get us a think tank together so that we can start coming up with content together that's relative. You know, but you know how I am, man. I don't like all that satirical stuff and, you know, and all the, if it's current events that ain't building nobody up or we can't get any innuendo out of it, I don't really care. You know what I'm saying? If like we talk about Ja Morant, because there's a bigger conversation to be had other than him just having a gun
right
in the place. There are so many, you know, what I mean, it's so many other conversations to be had around that, you know, and I would rather explore those types of conversations.
Yeah.
Than just talking about the fact, some simple stuff, right? So I'm tired. You know, it's 12:41 here. I ain't no
Right. Yeah, it's 12:4. I'm in Indiana.
Are you in Indiana? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a truck driver. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me turn it on right quick. Hold on. Bam. Let me go. All right. Because I always, so as I always say, if you want to support this platform, you can always send stars, or you can always send a cash app. I got all the different avenues. I see that. But you can always support this platform. We would definitely appreciate it if you support it. Food stars, cash app, PayPal, whatever you want to do. But as I always say, Candace, please send me a friend request, or I'll send you one, and we're gonna collaborate on something soon. But as I always say when I get out of here, the world is changing. My question for you is, why do you remain the same? Y'all have a good night, and I'm not gonna say see you next week because I might come on tomorrow. Who knows? Catch you next time. Out.